creating content became harder and harder as the ideas were getting thinner and thinner. Not that I was running out of ideas. It was just always like, what do people want to see online? And I was trying to get myself into that psyche. And I was thinking, I went back, I was like, I worked at this restaurant in Dorchester, and we used to make these 3 butters in the first course for the bread. We had 3 different types of bread. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do bread and butter. And one of them we did, which was brown butter, burnt butter. And we used to do it in a canal, or rocher, or whatever you call it. So we used to do it in that shape. And so I was like, fuck, I'll do that. So I did that on TikTok, made the brown butter, did some warm sourdough. And that was like, got 1 million views on TikTok. And I only had 100,000 followers on TikTok at the time, I think. So I was like, 1 million views, great, fantastic. And then about 6 months later, I did a wild garlic butter. Yeah. And then that was like 1 million views overnight. And I was like, fuck, something like clicked. I was like, shit, TikTok loves butter. Yeah. So I was right, I need to make the series. So I made one more flavor. And I did a quick, like, 3 canal video. Oh, yeah, boom. Yeah. And I said, welcome to All Things Butter. In the series, I'm going to show you how to make all things butter from this. And then, boom, put that out on TikTok. And there was like 10 million views. And then I put it out then I was like, shit, I've got to make the next butter. So I made the chicken skin butter the next day. Which is still the best. Then that was like 10 million views. Then I made a honeycomb butter, 10 million views. Then I made a bone marrow butter, 20 million views. And it was just like, fuck it. I was feeding this beast, like, bam, 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 1 butter a day. Yeah. And then I got to about 20 and I was like, I'm going to do 10 more. Yeah. I was sort of like starting to like feel the like flogging, and I'm still going 80 on. But it's still like, I post them now. Last week I posted 2 butters, and one's got 7 million views and one's got 4 million views. And then I do a really nice fish pie and it gets 1 million.
That fish pie looks unreal.
Yeah, I do like a lasagna. Okay, firstly, it takes me about 10 times longer to make something nice. So, and I get half the amount, like a tenth of the amount of views. Yeah. So anyway, so yes, I did not have a brand in mind. It was just purely to make some content, and that it really did it changed my business a lot. I went from 150,000 followers to 1 million Instagram followers basically in overnight, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I think.
Then TikTok went up to 2.5, 2 and a bit million, and then I've basically, it became. I was opening the restaurant at the time. It was just there. It was just the right timing for me. And, never went into it to be like, I started making cooking videos in lockdown. And I was just like, I've never gone into it to be like the main part of the business. It was just like a fun thing to do whilst I was stuck in working in America in lockdown. So.
Because it's fascinating how much momentum that builds. I think with content, people only see the clip of you doing it with the canal, if that's how you say it. Yeah. I want to go back behind the scenes, because I know just doing this podcast for this 1.5-hour conversation or 2-hour conversation, the amount of ag that goes into just getting the fuck around is so much. What is the stuff that people won't see behind the scenes, like the creative process? Like, what is your creative process into creating these butter things?
Make a lot of mess. No, I mean, it's at the moment it is actually quite rewarding creating in such a tiny space, because like I'm creating in a butter space. So I'm always looking for flavors to get into the butter and to not seem like, you just chuck that in for no reason.
Right.
Like, you gotta like think, how does it actually go in there? Like I made this Sagaloo butter, and I think that's how you say it. Sagaloo, yeah. Sagaloo. Well, I've got slated.
There's a nice way of saying it. There's a Sagaloo, mate.
I said Sagaloo. Anyway, so I created this Sagaloo butter, and I was thinking, like, because obviously when you're at home, I was like, all you have to do is boil the potatoes and cook the spinach, and then you got the butter, and it turns it into the whole dish. It's basically roast the spices, you put the garlic, all the mustard oil and everything like that into the butter, and then all you're doing, instead of like getting all the spices out and toasting them and doing everything, all you're doing is boiling the potatoes, put the spinach in, wilt it down, then add in the butter, and you mix it, you got Sagaloo.
Yeah. That's why I think
That's
you
good,
guys.
but
That's
that-
why I think you guys are going to smash it, because it's you're selling butter, yes.
Yeah.
You're actually saving people time. Because so I know you did the chili butter with the broccoli the other day.
Yeah.
Like that, someone sees that in
and
on
it
social, and
just
they can
get-
nip to Waitrose,
Yeah,
get
exactly.
it, and bosh, that's dinner
Give you
done.
an easy, like, that's how we serve broccoli in the restaurant. We make it from scratch in the restaurant, but we do chili butter over the broccoli, some seeds and nuts and stuff on top, and it's a certified banging. But like it did, like I had it last night for dinner, and then so yeah, creating in that space and trying to make sure it's actually useful, and some of them questionable.
Which ones were questionable?
Oh,
which
God,
ones
I
are?
can think of a few.
Which
No,
yeah, go
actually,
on,
the
go on.
one which Toby thinks is question. I don't know if it's the.
Which one?
No. One of them we won't go into. The other one, I did a salt and vinegar crisp butter for a chicken sandwich, which is fucking dope. I always put salt and vinegar crisp in my sandwich, and I was like, "Fuck, salt and vinegar crisp." So I just opened a pack of salt and vinegar, chucked in block of butter, buzzed it up.
Which other one did you think I was going to say?
The cookies.
Is that the Oreo one? Is that the Oreo one?
No.
No. Can I say?
No. You
just say it,
can't
mate.
say it. You can't say it.
Oh,
Please.
No, it's basically I was really hungover.
Right.
I had to do a video, and I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "Oh, it's got to do this cookies and cream butter." I was like,
Is that an
"Is that
Oreo?
actually for a brand?"
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay, for a brand, for no names. So I was like, Toby, is it really bad if I go to Asda, which was in Park Royal, and buy some cookies from a packet? And I was like, right, what I'll do is I'll pretend to mix the dough in the machine, and then I'll just put the tray down, and then I'll put it in the oven and pull it out. There's some full cookies on there. And so to put them in and to crumble them up, blend them in through the butter.
Yeah, it was that movement of just like opening the thing and that just came out.
That's hilarious.
I never really.
That is too
By the
fancy.
way, I don't ever do that.
Yeah, that was the only. I think that is genuinely the only time it's ever happened.
I had a deadline and I was dying.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the discipline of creating content and creativity, and
Well, I've been going through like a slight lack of. I've had some ill discipline in the content creation world because of just lack of consistency. Because obviously I'm running a restaurant, which I'm super passionate about. I love being in the kitchen, and it's so much more rewarding cooking for people who are sitting on the bar, full restaurant. You know, you're cooking food that I want to cook all the time, and I've got a team around me, a great camaraderie, really lovely team, great atmosphere, energy, content. You're literally on your own in the kitchen, and then you got to do all the washing up. And then it's kind of like, do I want to do that, or do I want to go and have a great time in the kitchen with the chefs and speak to some customers and listen to some music, and like, or do I want to be on my own, silence in fucking Park Royal? No, I'd much rather. So I became bad at doing content, but you really do see the drop off. If you stop, it takes 2 to 3 weeks to build back up a good rapport with the algorithm. And that relationship with the algorithm is pretty key. So it's like building up your relationship with the algorithm, then staying on the momentum. Like, so let's say it's posting rhythm. It's all about, like, you know, if you post on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday every week, they know that you're posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
They reward consistency.
Yeah, they reward consistency. I had a meeting with Meta about it, and they were just talking about posting rhythm and scheduling and doing so. You know, to pass out full vid. I did half a day of film yesterday. I did 2 videos. I've got a full day tomorrow. I'm doing a new series. Can't tell ya. But I need to.
Well, you also don't know the name yet, so.
I do.
Working title.
I know exactly what it's going to be. Welcome to. No, it's not. I'm going to not say that, because I'm literally, sometimes I have to shoot myself in the head when I say it.
back a little bit, mate, just for the camera Rooney.
Actually, I could send a welcome to All Things Butter for an episode. No, I missed it.
To what?
Do you mind, Mandy?
What for?
She was posting a video for me, but she needed a voiceover.
Okay.
You can cut this out.
We're mid.
Yeah, you can cut this out.
Okay. You can see it in action.
Welcome to All Things Butter, Season 2, the Italian segment. Episode 22, Cacio e Pepe Butter with Peachy. There we go. Boom.
Happy days.
Happy days, done.
So I'm going to keep that in. I like seeing the way I do my adverts is on my phone as well. Because I used to have to set I think it's about cutting corners with content, like to make it easier for possible.
Yeah.
So I used to set this up to do the adverts.
Oh, sorry.
That's all good. And I was like, this is taking me forever. Now with the iPhone, bosh, I'll be like, this is the advert. It's done. It's quick.
The problem I find is, sometimes you like wrap yourself up in a duvet so it doesn't sound too like tinny, or you go and sit in the car. Like cars are great for soundproofing. It doesn't bounce around the sound. So.
We should record this in my car. So that's mate. So and then we're going to get on to how you come into the fold, mate, because I think that's really interesting. But just on the consistency piece, because the consistency is so hard. I don't think people talk about consistency enough. Like it's so tricky.
I find it I've recently stopped drinking, and that has helped consistency. I think it's because if you're hungover 2 or 3 days a week, you don't want, it's a lack of. I've got so much energy now. Like I'm up at 5:30, 6, and I go to bed at midnight. I've got I've got 18 hours in the day every day.
Yeah. Does it? So you've got this shoot tomorrow. Does it feel like work? Is what I'm trying to get to.
Yes, that's definitely work. I've got to do some. I've got to write the recipes. I've got to get all the ingredients bought. I've got to make sure all the studio's set up, or wherever we've got we built this outside sort of production place above the restaurant. I've got the flat above the restaurant, so we've got on the back roof. I've got a sort of
I've seen it.
Kitchen set up there, so we can film upstairs. And the great thing about that is right next to the restaurant, I can take the washing up downstairs. We've got a team, so it's actually really time efficient, and I can make sure that it's set up. The only thing is that you have to climb out a window to get there, so it's a bit annoying.
And the team are there, so it's like there's a vibe. It's like a buzz.
Exactly. You can go back into the office. You can have I can have a shower or something between, freshen up. But so that makes it so much easier to do, like having multiple places to do it. I also love doing the longer form content. I've done a couple of series on. I've done a few series on YouTube. And we went up to the most recent one. We went to Isla with Berghaus. That was fantastic. And that's really educational. What I find about the shorter stuff is that it's less educational. People like the ideas. I don't spend hours and hours writing recipes to put on Instagram and stuff like that. I'm writing a book at the moment, and that is, that's where I want people to go buy the book and get the whole vibe of what I do.
That's the thing, and this is the same with podcasts. Is as we were talking about, Toby, before we hit record, is with Instagram you can get fucking loads of views, but it's not shallow. Like obviously people can become obsessed with the recipes. With a podcast, you can go super deep and really get to know someone. And the views are never going to be as big as a TikTok reel, but the depth you get, you can't kind of. That's where
Instagram reel.
Instagram reel, yeah,
just a TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok reel.
But the mad thing about
sorry,
no, go for it.
The mad thing on Tom's content is by far Tom's best content is his stuff on YouTube, which he did, like the Taste of Business series, and that's got by far the least amount of views on all of Tom's content. And it's like
I've got 10 times less subscribers.
Or 10 times. But when you look at even the quality of production is so much better. The fact that like Tom is like in his environment in his garden, like using all of like his. I mean, he's got so many toys you can imagine in the garden, which he plays around with and cooks on.
Like a.
All your grills and
BMW, kid's car,
and it's for me is like I would love, and I remember me and him have spoken about it so much over the years, like building out that long form content, but it costs I mean, how much it
costs of money now. It's not
good for a long form video.
How much?
It's not too bad, because obviously the editing time's like a day. If you get a good editor, it's 300 quid a day, and then if you got a good videographer who's working with you, it's 500 quid a day, and you can maybe bash out 2 or 3. But they're long, take 2 hours to film, and then to edit 2 different cameras. It was costing me a shitload of money to do one a week, and I wasn't making money off it. And I didn't necessarily have a job at the time because the restaurant wasn't open. I wasn't earning a salary, so all my money was coming through like partnerships on Instagram and stuff like that. And it wasn't like free flowing.
But I think, as you say, even though half the people have listened, like the audience on that is much smaller than, say, the TikTok, the people who have watched it will have a much deeper relationship with you, with the restaurant.
Yeah.
I think there's an unseen value in that.
We need to get back onto it. I was just saying to my PA yesterday, I said we need to book 2 days a month for long form content on YouTube. And that's so 2 days a month, 2 full days a month where you get someone in and you've had it planned out for a while. And it's just, next week, Thursday, Friday, you're shooting 6 recipes.
Yeah.
Which is once a month, 2 days, block it out, go.